Everyone, welcome. We're going to get started here. So we made it. This is the last of our 6 sessions. This is your questions answered. So in this one, we're going through most commonly asked questions that we get as a team at Tiller, but also questions that you have live from the session. So as we go through, feel free to pop your questions into the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to answer those at the end. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So as I mentioned, this is our final session. We've done a series of 6 of these getting started with Tiller sessions. If you missed any of the previous ones, they're all recorded and posted in the Tiller community. So feel free to head over there and take a look if there's any of these topics that seem interesting to you. We also do a full list of questions that are asked in each session. So even the ones that aren't answered live will get answered in that community post. So you'll probably find answers to questions that are relevant to you as you take a look through those. Okay, so as I mentioned, this is our last session in 6, and today we're just talking common questions, setup issues that people have, and then diving into a Q&A. And when it's over, all those resources are going to be listed in our community post. So keep an eye out for that. You'll get an email notification about that as well. Okay, so before we get into all of the lovely questions that we have, what is Tiller all about? So Tiller is your financial life in a spreadsheet, automatically updated each day. So Tiller is a financial tool that makes managing your money in a spreadsheet fast and easy by automating your daily transactions and balances into the spreadsheet provider of your choice. So either Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. We believe that spreadsheets are the best way to get in tune with your money because they're flexible, collaborative, and very customizable. Okay, so let's get into the big questions that we've got. So a lot of these have been sourced from our other getting started sessions, and some of them have come in from things that we hear as a support team. So we've got kind of a broad array here. So you might find that the questions you came to the session with in mind get answered along the way. But one of the most common things we get asked is, should I be using Google Sheets or should I be using Excel? Tiller is available in both Sheets and Excel, and you can use either or both. Both are going to be available in your Tiller account. So if you're unsure or you're on the fence, you can always try a foundation template in each one and see what works better for you, what you prefer. The functionality within the foundation template is the same across both. So you will see some little nuances in the way that Google Sheets is built versus Excel, but overall, the functionality is going to be the same from a spreadsheet perspective. So I'll show you quickly in the console where you would decide to use either one. So here we see our linked spreadsheets. All of the ones I have right now are in Google Sheets, but if I click create a spreadsheet, you can either click to create a Google Sheet or click to create an Excel sheet. And it's really that simple. As soon as you do that, it's going to take you through the whole setup flow for each one, and you'll be able to link your accounts and get started that way. In terms of differences, there are some features that are only available on Google Sheets. And so these include the Tiller Community Solutions add-in. We touched on that in last week's session. And that add-in is basically there to pull in community templates that are created by other users of Tiller. So that's only available in Google Sheets. We also just launched something called direct fills, which I'll touch on a bit more later in the session, but this is a new way to populate data in your sheet more automatically. And that's only available in Google Sheets right now. It's not available in Excel. Typically, we also release new features to Google Sheets first. So if you are somebody who likes to get their hands on new tools or be a part of beta testing, those things are typically available in Google Sheets sooner. So for example, you may have seen this posted in the community, but we're doing a small beta test of a ChatGPT solution. And again, that's going to be specific for Sheets built in with Google Sheets. Another thing to note is that the vast majority of our customers are actually using Google Sheets. So you might find that there's more common conversations in the community around Google Sheets versus Excel. And it also can make it easier to troubleshoot issues with the Tiller support team if you're using Google Sheets. But again, it's really a personal preference, and you have the full ability to try out each and see what works for you. I also want to mention that if you choose one sheet provider, but you want to switch to the other, it's really easy to migrate between the sheets. And we do have a help article available in the Help Center that'll show you step by step how to go from Excel to Sheets or Sheets to Excel. So you're not locked into anything. Feel free to explore. And it's just kind of a matter of personal preference. Okay. The next thing we can talk about are the data aggregators. So a lot of our customers want to know, what is the difference? What do they do? What should I use? All of that. So essentially, Tiller doesn't connect directly to each bank account. Instead, we use what's called a data aggregator or a data provider. And we partner with two, Plaid and Yodlee. An aggregator is basically just a trusted third-party service that securely connects your bank to Tiller. So it kind of sits in between your financial institution and Tiller, and then sends your transaction and balance information from your bank into Tiller so that we can fill that into your spreadsheets. So in terms of Plaid and Yodlee, that's who we partner with right now. You don't need separate accounts with them. So Tiller handles all of that for you. And together, they can help you connect to over 20,000 different institutions. So you'll likely find that the institution of your choosing is supported by one of the providers. If you are curious at all about which institutions are supported, we have a great list of supported financial institutions that we update regularly. This is a screenshot of that. You can find it in the Help Center, and I'm also going to link it as a resource after the session. But if you just do a search in that sheet of your bank name, it'll tell you which aggregator you can use and which one is supported. So you'll be able to find what institutions are supported by Tiller through these two aggregation partners. There are some differences between the way Plaid and Yodlee refresh accounts and the timing of that. But in terms of actually pulling in your data from your financial institution and filling it into your sheet, they function in the same way. The aggregator that you end up using will likely just come down to which one supports your specific institutions. And you can use either or both, depending on the different institutions you have. So I'll show you quickly in my own account here. If I scroll down, some of my connections are through Yodlee. So you can see these first three are Yodlee, but I've also connected through Plaid. So again, it really just depends on which accounts are supported by which data provider. Okay, another thing that we got asked quite a bit in all of these sessions was, what are the add-ins and how do you install them? So I'll start with Google Sheets. So we have two add-ins you can add to Google Sheets. The first being Tiller Money Feeds, and the second being Tiller Community Solutions. I'll head into my account here and I'll open up my sheet, and we can kind of go through installing that together just so you can see how quick it is, first of all, but also exactly how that works. So you can see here, I'm in my foundation template, and to add the Tiller Money Feeds extension, I'll just come here. I'm going to click add-ons, get add-ons. This is going to open up my Google Marketplace. Just search Tiller and it'll pop right up there. So you see here, Tiller Money Feeds. I'll click install. It's going to ask for some permissions. I'll go ahead and go forward with those. And then it's just going to think for a second and start installing in my Google Sheets. Okay, so it's been installed. Once you have it installed, it's going to show up in your extensions. So if I hover over that, I'll see the launch button, and then I can just click launch. Oh, let me extend my page here. And you can see it starting to open up here. So the Tiller Money Feeds add-on is a great tool. It helps you, if you don't have direct fills, it is where you will update your transactions and fill them into your sheet. But aside from that, it also has tools like splitting transactions, adding manual transactions. This is also where you would run your auto categorization. You can create AutoCat rules directly from here. And you can also add some additional templates, which we covered all of these in previous sessions, but it is a really helpful tool. It'll also show you which accounts you have connected to the sheet. So you can pick and choose exactly which accounts you want syncing into the sheet at any time. Similarly, we do have for Google Sheets the Tiller Community Solutions extension. So that's already installed in my account, but it's added in the same way. You just search Tiller and it'll pop up. And this is the one that we talked about last week, where you're able to add those community built sheets and solutions right into your Google Sheet. So again, it's just going to open up as a sidebar, and then it's going to give you all of these great options for additional sheets that you wanted to add. So some of the really common ones are, budget builders, projected balances, weekly trends. There's some really great options in there. So again, this is not like a mandatory thing to add, but you can get a lot of value out of it if you wanted to customize the sheets and the information that you have in Tiller. Okay. So that's for Google Sheets. For Excel, it's very similar. You just need to click on the add-ins button. It's in the top navigation bar in Excel, and it's the same thing. You'll just search add-ins for Tiller, and Tiller money feeds will pop right up. You can click add, and it's going to go through the same sort of setup steps. The one thing to note, again, is that the Community Solutions add-in is not available for Excel. So that's one of the Google Sheets only add-ins that you have there. But yeah, very simple to install, and it's going to have the same functionality for Tiller money feeds between Google Sheets and Excel. So AutoCat, splitting transactions, all that good stuff. Okay. The next question that we're getting a ton of traffic with, and which is related to a new feature that is live now to all customers as of this week, is what's the difference between direct fills versus sidebar fills? Do I have access to one or both? How do I know? So sidebar fills refers to using the Tiller money feeds add-in to add your new transactions to the foundation template. So if I come into this template of mine and I'll open up my Tiller money feeds add-on, click launch. The add-on, once it loads, is going to show a button where I would update and fill my new transactions. So once that loads, we'll be able to see that. And with the new direct fills option, that button just doesn't exist. So yeah, here we see this bar here going checking for updates. And once it's finished checking, you'll be able to click it and check for new updates. And if there were updates, you would fill them directly from here. If I come into my new template that has direct fills, and I launch my extension, oh, there we go. It'll just look a little bit different where it won't have that button. So essentially, as of this week, we've made a really big step forward with releasing direct fills to everybody. And this is available when you create a new Google Sheet. So this is another feature that is for Google Sheets only. We haven't released it for Excel yet. And it's also only going to apply to new sheets that you create after. So if you're already using a sheet, so for example, this sheet, I've got sidebar fills, and this new one I created this morning, you'll see that button's missing because it's going to automatically update with my transactions and accounts whenever they're available. So what's the big difference here? Direct fills are more automatic. So data gets filled into your spreadsheet shortly after it's available in the Tiller database. And it doesn't require that you click fill within the sidebar to actually get the data in the spreadsheet. And it doesn't wait for autofill. So if you have a sidebar fill sheet and you've turned on autofill, you'll notice that it fills on a timed schedule. It doesn't automatically pull those transactions in as they're available in the database. So the direct fills thing is just going to make it way more automated, way more streamlined. And it's going to cut out some of the confusion and headaches around having to manually fill your transactions. We get a ton of questions about, I've synced my accounts in my console, but my transactions aren't appearing in my sheet. Previously, you would have to go and, fill those updates, but now we're just going to put them in the sheet for you. So that's a really cool improvement that we're all super excited about, and it's been a highly requested feature. So if you don't have direct fills in your current spreadsheets, definitely create a new one, check it out, see how it goes. It's definitely very easy to use. One thing that you might be asking if you have a sidebar fills spreadsheet is, can I switch that to being direct fills? As of right now, no. We would require you to create a new spreadsheet, but we are hoping to have a more seamless migration path for this in the future, but no ETA on that. And so, yeah, if you currently have a sidebar fills account but want to check this out, all you need to do is go into your console, go create a spreadsheet, start with Google Sheets, and this is going to automatically create a direct fill spreadsheet for you. The option for a sidebar fill spreadsheet is no longer available in your account. So yeah, you would just go ahead, click continue, and create that spreadsheet, and you'll automatically be put into direct fills. Okay. So the next question that we get a lot is, why aren't transactions from my newly connected account appearing in my sheet? And so this is a really common issue that comes up where you've added an account, you can confirm that it's been refreshed in your console, but when you go and check in your sheet, and even if you click to fill in a sidebar fill sheet, you're not seeing any of those transactions come through. And so the big missing step here is that you may have not linked it to a spreadsheet. So if I come into my console here, and let's open up my demo foundation template. When I open this up, you'll see a checkbox next to every available account. So these are all of the accounts that I have connected to my console, but the ones with the check marks are the ones that are connected to my sheet. So this is really important. Even if you've added an account, if you don't go in and link it to your sheet, you won't be able to see any of those transactions in your sheet. Similarly, if I come into my my spreadsheet, I can also check from here. So if I click linked accounts in the top and then scroll down, you'll see that there's all these little toggle buttons. And so you can really easily toggle on and off the different account types that you have. So that's how you would add in a new account that you have. So as soon as you connect an account in your console, which you would just do by coming down here, you can click add accounts, and it's going to bring you to your data aggregator to start adding that. Once it's added here, it'll be available for you to check off and connect to your account. And again, it doesn't matter if you do this through the console here or directly in your sheet, but you do have to do that one step to link a new account to your existing spreadsheet. You can also unlink accounts in the same way. So if you no longer want to pull in information, you can just uncheck it. It's going to show you this warning. So Tiller will no longer post new transactions and balances from this account to your sheet. But this is an important piece to keep in mind, is that any existing transactions from this account are going to remain in your sheet. So if you go into your transactions list and you see, from a specific account, certain transactions, anything that's already in here is still going to be in here. You would have to manually go through and remove those transactions. But no new transactions for that account would be pulled in after you unlink it. Okay. This is sort of the last frequently asked question that I was going to go over today, but it is, can I share my Tiller account with another person? So my spouse, child, accountant, these are all common questions that we get. And yes, you absolutely can. So we call these secondary users, and you can add up to 5 secondary users in your account. This is all done from your console. So you would simply click on the little initial icon here, then go to settings, And down here at the bottom under authentication, you'll see secondary users. So grant full access to your Tiller account to additional users. I'll go ahead and click here, and you simply just need to enter their email address, and it'll invite them to your account. There are certain things that they have access to and don't. So things that they can't do in your account would be updating subscription and billing details, adding new financial institutions or removing one, adding manual accounts, doing CSV imports or deleting CSV imports. They also cannot remove or add any of the other secondary users on the account, and they can't start a conversation with support. So only the primary account holder can initiate tech support with Tiller. Aside from that, they will be able to see your spreadsheets, accounts, and balances, and launch and use Tiller money feeds. So they'll be able to see your spreadsheets, interact with your spreadsheets, and use the Tiller money feeds add-on to make changes there. One of the things that we get asked about with this is, can you pick and choose which things different users have access to? And the answer is, at this time, no. They would only be able to, they can see basically everything as every other secondary user. So we don't have a pick and choose for access at this time. So again, they'll have access to most things aside from changing accounts and users and that kind of stuff. Another way that you can share your Tiller information is with Hello Money. So this is a daily email that we send out that shows new activity in your financial accounts. You can pick and choose which institutions send out those reminders, and if you wanted to include transactions and balances. So for example, in my account, for some of these, I only want to see balances. For others, I just want to see if it's been refreshed only. And so for these accounts, you can add a recipient. So you can add up to 3 additional recipients that'll receive the same email that you get. And again, you won't be able to pick and choose what balances or transactions they can see. It'll be the same email that you receive. But this is cool if you don't want somebody to have direct access to your account, but you do want to keep them informed about what's going on in your different accounts. You can use Hello Money for that. Okay, so those were the commonly asked questions that I wanted to go over sort of broadly. But if anybody has any additional questions, you can feel free to use the Q&A that's in Zoom if you wanted to ask any questions there. Okay,
Yeah.
I don't see. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna add regarding some of the things that we spoke about with respect to Tiller Money Feeds add-on versus Tiller Community Solutions add-on, and the fact that we don't have any add-ins for Excel, that some community solutions are already available in Tiller Money Feeds. So the default add-on or add-in that we have, so people can go browse those sort of the most popular ones, and they might not need any additional add-ons in the case of Google Sheets, or they might not need to do any manual installations for community solutions, depending on what they need. Um, Also, with respect to direct fills versus sidebar fills, if someone is using a direct fill sheet and they want to switch over, so to speak, we do have steps for data migration that we can share in the resources that go out with this recording.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that's a great, those are both great call outs. Since I've got my sheet open here, in the Tiller money feeds, and it'll appear the same way for Excel, but yes, we have these templates that you can browse. And as Fulani said, these are the most popular and commonly used templates. So some of them are Tiller built, and they'll have that blue button, and then some are community built. So these are the most common community ones that you can add directly in. And I should also say, even though there's not the community solution add-on for Excel, there still are community solutions that you can use. Let me just show you that. So in the community, let me add in this sheet here. We have a community section called Excel templates, and this is where Tiller users share the templates that they've built and that you can install as well. So for example, we have this budget plan here. if I click in, you can see JP is somebody who you'll see in the community a lot as an awesome builder. So you'll see him around if you're looking for templates. But you can see here he's built an Excel budget plan, and he also gives detailed installation steps that you can use. So even if this one wasn't available in the Tiller Money Feeds add-on, you can still use it in Excel, just following these installation instructions. Okay, cool. Well, I'm not seeing any questions coming in from the audience, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen, and we can end from here. But if any questions come up, please feel free to reach out to our support team. We're available every day of the week. You can shoot us an email, support@tiller.com, or when you're logged into your console, there's a support icon at the bottom right. If you click on that, you can submit a question to us. You can also search our help center. So if you start typing in whatever you want to ask about, you'll pull up resources there automatically before you even get in touch with our team. So definitely check that out. Check out the community, search for answers there. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you around. Thank you so much for attending.